structured in this particular way.
I mean, if it is relational, why would you, I don't understand why they privilege one over the other. It's just the people in relationship that image God, not the male or the female. But, and you broaden that becomes a metaphor for people coming together.
But this metaphor has been kind of literalized, that God literally has sort of married Earth, that Mary is God's bride, and in that sense we're all feminine, you know, and men get to be masculine and feminine, and women just get to be feminine. But it's in that understanding of what constitutes personhood as masculine and feminine. As I said to the students, you know, this is a very, very old metaphor. It's a very powerful metaphor. But, you know, that's certainly, I can't certify fiat saying, okay, we shouldn't use this anymore. But if you look at the way in which this metaphor has been used throughout Christian history, it's really creative. You know, when you think about Peter and the twin breasts of, I forget, one of the medieval church fathers used that image. The monks who would see themselves as feminine in relationship to Christ, masculine in relationship to Mary, you know, the way the kind of gender-bending idea that this relationship of God and Israel, of Christ and humanity, is a metaphor for loving intimacy. What's happened is that loving intimacy has been boxed. It's been boxed up. And so, you know, I was also telling a story to the students today about my afternoon with some friends of mine on Sunday afternoon, a gay couple who, just in the way in which they relate to each other and the way that they relate to their friends in the community, were to me a model of what it means to live in the body of Christ. And so that idea of what it means to be in relationship, I don't think we do ourselves a favor if we try and box it in a particular way. So I would keep preaching that. But,
okay. Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Carmen Silva. I'm a staff member here. Keeping with this metaphor, and I want to mention that I was educated through high school before Vatican II, right when Vatican II happened. Mm-hmm. So you gave me a lot of insight into this metaphor that I'd never had before. It was always especially mysterious, even though I love poetry. I know what metaphors are. But it just struck me that, and especially after Father Prevet's comments, that given the focus of the church on community and family, why this marriage metaphor doesn't include children. And for myself, I have to say that, you know, I can't remember for how long now, but I have felt that being in the church is like being the child of a divorced couple, or, you know, and so I only get upset if I think about the institutional church, the hierarchy. And I try to simply remember that it's the people that keep me. And yet it's very hard, because I wish it weren't simply on that more personal level, you know. I wish that I could go beyond this little community and have respect and admiration for the leaders. I can't. But what I did want to, I don't know if you have, in terms of the theology, the history readings and that, about this marriage metaphor going, at some point, being adapted, or going beyond two people.
Well,
it's images of people.
It's interesting you should bring that up, because I actually write about that in my book. And one of the critiques that I make, and I'd have to flip through, and I can't remember exactly where, but my critique of this model is that you've got these two people locked in this embrace, looking at each other, and I'm asking, like you, wait a minute, where's the in-laws? Where are the friends? Where are the kids? Where's the community? Because we don't just, I mean, to me that's that's what makes the whole idea of the Trinity so interesting. It's this dance among the three. You know, there's not just two. There's a third one going on. There's generativity right within the Trinity itself. And so in my book, what I do this critique of this bridal metaphor, and what I try to suggest is that if you take a look at what feminist thinkers, political theorists, philosophers have done with our understanding of familial relationships, and the critique of the kind of nuclear patriarchal family, and you look at how families are dynamic, they're varied, they're always a challenge when when there's more than two in the relationship, and so I suggested that in the book that we might look at what I would call a kind of reconstructed family as a model for relationship and community in the church. And I got a little flag from some feminists who were saying, well, you gotta be careful with the family, it's also patriarchal. But someone like the late and very wonderful Susan Miller Oakins work on the family. She was at Stanford, I think. And the ideas about how to organize a way in which we live together, in which it can be life-giving and nurturing, and yet also open, as it is, I think, the Christian understanding of family, the Christian theological understanding of family is in the New Testament. Because what does Jesus say? Wait a minute, yeah, everyone is my brother and my mother and my sister. And so what it seems to me what the New Testament idea does of family is it breaks it open and basically says that we're not just in relationship with the beloved. I mean, there's this, I don't know if anybody reads the comic strip, it's this thing about this little teenage kid, and there's this teenage couple at his high school that they sort of go around like this all the time, that, these two are sort of inseparable. And that's what the bride-bridegroom model looks to me like in the church. It's like, they're walking around like this, and you want to say, wait a minute, where's the rest of the world? For the kids, for the in-laws, who's cleaning up the house this week? Did you let the kinds of real-life concerns. So that this idea of the relationship that we get, I think, is so idealized. And I say, if you look at the way in which the Pope understands sexuality as this beautiful, wonderful, that every act is, I just want to say, well, the real world makes it a little bit more complex. Sometimes you do have a headache. And sometimes it is just absolutely wonderful, but the real life, and this is, I think, the experiences of those of us, men and women alike, who have to worry about these real life things, that's the kinds of experiences that I think can expand that understanding of relationship.
And which book is it? You mentioned in your book.
It's this one.
Extravagant
Affections.
I'm glad you mentioned, I just want to say, I'm glad you said what you did about the family.
Family is embodied context for sacramentality.
Okay.
Part two.
I like, because when I was thinking, when I mentioned what happened to the family, I did not mean the nuclear family at all.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I meant exactly what you meant.
Okay.
I, thinking of your gay friends and my gay friends with children, when I was along with my two sons, we were a family. The father wasn't there, but